In a time where we seem to have it all and have more connectivity than ever before, we believe that actually so many people out there are feeling more lonely and disconnected than ever before.
We're living in a broken system and a time of change. The question is, what can we do about it, and how can we stand up and be counted? Hi, I'm James Davis.
And I'm Claire Davis.
We're the Midlife Mentors, here to lift the lid on how to achieve health and happiness.
The balanced, no-nonsense way.
Welcome back to the Midlife Mentors. It's been a while.
It has been a while. We are on season 3, lovely people. And thank you again, always for your mega support that you continue to give us and the reviews and sharing it on social media. So thank you so much. Sorry we've been away for a bit longer than we were expecting.
If you're catching this kind of episodically or catching up, then,
is that even a word?
You might not notice the break. But from the end of season 2 to now, there has been, about 8 weeks, I think.
Oh, I think a little bit more than that.
What have we been up to? Wow. Well,
what have we not been up to?
Well, the last one we recorded was in sunny Ibiza, which was lovely.
Now we are sat in a very rainy London. So obviously, if any of you have kind of listened to our podcast before, we've done them everywhere, all over the place. We've driven across France and Spain many a time whilst we've been doing these podcasts. So we came back and...
We've attempted to do one in the Channel Tunnel.
We had. It didn't work with all the bing bong. That didn't work. So now we are actually... unexpectedly but very happily living in London.
Yes, life has dealt us some curveballs.
It's an understatement.
But if you know with us, our whole philosophy is, how can you turn things around? How can you see the positives in what's happening to you, believe everything's happening for your good, and make it a positive? So we won't bore you with some of the drama we've been through.
It's been quite epic, people. It really has.
It has. Anyway, the end result is we are now living in... Belsize Park, which is near Hampstead, between Hampstead and Camden, if you don't know London. So we're like bang in the centre, North London, and we are loving it.
We do love it. So I haven't lived here for a long time, like 12 years. James, a bit less, but it's great to be amongst it all. You know, we're growing our business on the corporate side here and just meeting the most awesome people because, I hate to say it, but I believe that London is the best city in the world. I mean, I'm sure we're going to get lots of responses to that. But, you know, it is an amazing city and we love it very much. But it has actually, like James alluded to, you know, the life throws us things that are unexpected sometimes. But it has made us obviously grow exponentially as people and really made us kind of think about even more what we want to deliver to the world, because, you know, in times of turmoil, you do understand yourself a little bit better. In the darker times, when you start coming out of them, you realise that you're a changed person. And it's made us more determined than ever before to, I don't know, kind of put our voice out there so that we can help as many people as possible, particularly midlifers.
Exactly. Claire, you just sparked me there talking about London being the greatest city in the world. I'm going off on a tangent here like I love
to. We always do.
This is to do with the subject of today's podcast, which is about broken system. And I'd say one observation, we're going to go to deep dive into this in a minute. One observation is, like, a question for you listeners. Are we moving away from national identity? Brexiteers would probably say not. But towards a world
oh my God, he's getting into politics.
Where we have city-states, megapolises, and they're like the chief drivers of economies. So we don't think, per se, of, you know, the US, China, Europe. We think of New York, Shanghai, London. You know, these are big cities now with populations of millions that probably have GDP larger than small countries. Yeah.
So I think, it's so true, and that's what I think we've.
It's like ancient Greece all over again with Thebes, Athens, and Sparta, city-states.
Oh my goodness, James going off piece, but I love it, bless him. No, so basically, obviously, you heard at the beginning, the title of this podcast is A Broken System, which sounds kind of, I don't know, a bit down in the dumps, a bit controversial perhaps. But it is because so many of you do write into us. We've worked with so many of you over the years, and it's not an easy time to be alive. I know that sounds really, really negative, but it is a really difficult time to be alive. There are lots of challenges. You know, we have so many opportunities, but also so many pressures. And I think that is why we kind of, you know, what we stand for is to bring you, I suppose, a light at the end of the tunnel, some tactics, some ways to move yourself into a better version of yourself, and actually, you know, just understand why you're feeling this way. You know, you're not alone. The whole purpose of this podcast is to bring people together, to make you feel more understood, to make you feel less isolated and alone. Even though a lot of the time we're surrounded by people. Now we're surrounded by information and people. We tend to feel more alone than ever. So this is our podcast to you today to say you are not alone. We're going to touch on some of the reasons why we truly believe you are feeling this way, and we're all feeling this way, and it is because of what we're terming a broken system.
Yeah, and although, as Claire said, that might sound depressing, what I would like to say, my slant is when something is broken, there's an opportunity to shape a solution to make things better. And that's why we're here, really, to offer our insight for the way we live and the way we work with our clients on simple solutions that can elevate your life.
Yeah, and a new way to actually look at being a midlifer. So why don't we dive into a little bit about what we believe is the broken system?
Yeah, so we'll take a really high-level approach. We've done our podcast on midlife crisis, some of the research and psychology around that. So if you haven't listened to that, go back. So the takeaway from that is it's a challenging time in our lives. Anyway, we're reevaluating a lot of stuff.
Questioning everything.
In terms of where we are now in the first world, if you look at where we are and what's happening, here in the UK now, we've just had a general election, and what we've observed sitting on the sidelines of that was like the feelings are so deeply embedded and partisan now, and social media is giving everyone a voice, but that voice is increasingly bitter and anger fueled. And I think we're seeing the same thing all over the world. You know, social media fueled arguably the Arab Spring. It's fueling the current surge for democracy in Hong Kong. This morning we've seen that the US has just impeached its third president, and I think these are the symptoms of the politics or the political system we have being broken, and that probably links into a reflection of the age we're living in as well.
Yeah, I mean, the social media, we call them keyboard warriors, and you know, it's everyone has a voice now, and this is a good thing, but it's also, you know, actually it can be quite damaging on so many levels, because everyone's putting their kind of quite aggressively their opinions out there, and they're personal attacks, which can feel, even though we're in this information world where, you know, we are so connected, people can take stuff really, really personally.
So if we look at what's going on, I'm going to just delve back into social history for a bit. You know, for centuries, our lifestyles in Northern Europe essentially remained pretty much unchanged. People were pretty much, they were subsistence farmers and they were landowners. And the subsistence people, the peasants, were serfs or slaves to the owners of the land. We had the agricultural revolution, which basically allowed suddenly large-scale production of food. So it went from, you know, living, you know, season to season to like, wow, being able to consistently stockpile food, feed a population, which in turn meant that people could be diverted to start studying and looking at science, which led to, of course, the Industrial Revolution, the machine age, where manufacturing accelerated, and then we saw people leaving the countryside and moving to the cities, the manufacturing hubs. And a new kind of thing, the landowners were swapped for factory owners, and they had their factory with their town around. The workers were all in servitude to the factory. Their rent was deducted from their wages. Industrial age came. And then we kind of entered, I'd say, the technology, with a couple of very turbulent world wars, the technology age, which I guess is probably from like the 50s or 60s onwards. And we started to realise all the things we could produce to make our life easier.
Then we went into the information age.
The information age. Because it was probably like
with the World Wide Web.
The late 80s and the probably from 90s onwards, where information suddenly becomes available and the currency becomes information. Now, some would argue we're still in the information age, and certainly that is going to continue accelerating. But some people are saying we've entered a new age, the age of contribution.
Actually, this comes from our lovely friend Jeremy Whaley, who has the most amazing podcast called Think Rich Radio, so please check it out.
Plug there, Claire.
Oh, he's just amazing, but it's a plug from the absolute heart. I know I've posted this on my Facebook page as well. It's absolutely amazing, and he's turned this, which we completely agree with, and now we're completely stealing it, is the age of contribution.
So I'd like to make a point. If we look back, because history does give us signposts, and we're clearly living in a time now of great transition, great change, which is unsettling in itself. I think if we look at what's happening with information technology, AI is increasing, and what we're going to face definitely is artificial intelligence taking over a lot of stuff, robots taking over a lot of menial jobs. We're going to have auto drive. We've already got cars that can drive themselves. Actually, we can get trucks and stuff to deliver stuff. We'll have automated drones. In essence, what I'm saying is there'll be a lot more leisure time for a lot more people, because there's not going to be as much employment, because artificial intelligence and machines will do it. Wait for my historical link, because this is what happened in Rome, which became like arguably one of the greatest civilizations the world's ever known, and was ahead of its time. But they had a saying there. They had exactly this problem. The people of Rome were all free citizens, and because they had a system of slaves, so for slaves substitute AI and robots, they had nothing to do, which led to unrest. So the people governing them had this saying, bread and circuses, which basically meant feed the people and keep them entertained.
Yeah. With
what was then barbaric entertainment, gladiator shows, Christians being eaten alive by lions, etc. Are we that far from that now? Increasingly, people are drawn into these reality shows that some would argue have us in a... I know you feel strongly about this.
Yeah, I do. I feel so strongly about this. Sorry, everyone out there that likes to watch Love Island and I'm a Celebrity, get me out of here. But it is absolutely crap for your brain. I mean, it's making people's brains into absolute mush. And I sit there, and then we've got things like, what's the one where Gogglebox? We're watching people watch TV. Are we actually serious, people? No,
but I think we had a saying. So remember the show Happy Days? I'm sure we will remember it if we're of the right age. It was probably on the afternoon when we were kids. And there was a saying that came from that TV show. This is a famous saying called jumping the shark. And what that means, if you don't know, you probably don't know this, Claire. When Happy Days was done, they actually did a Happy Days summer special where the Fonz went water skiing, and a shark came and he jumped over the shark, and everyone afterwards was like, this was the end of Happy Days because it was just ridiculous. And so when shows have done that, jumping the shark, and now we have like people who are on Gogglebox, so people who are commenting on reality telly and now becoming reality stars in their own life. It's become like a horrible self-fulfilling
weirdness. Yeah, so basically, I mean, like, I just find this absolutely, like, I find this the term insanity, to be quite honest with you, with everyone's brain turning to mush. We are putting these people on a pedestal. What we're doing is, with Love Island and things like that, we're having our young people aspire to be these people that are only famous for being famous. And, they're having sexual relations on television. All our young people are spending all their money on plastic surgery. And they're getting themselves into debt. And I actually have a conspiracy theory here. I really do, which is kind of linked to Rome and what James was saying. They're actually just trying to entertain you so you don't see what else is going on. So you don't have a clear vision of what is really, really happening and your part to play in it. Because like James is saying, we are now confused. The world isn't as simple as it used to be. And I know we say, obviously there was many, many terrible, terrible things that have happened, even in, generations that we know, our parents, our grandparents, and terrible things that have happened. But what we don't know now, with the explosion of information, with the explosion of the internet, with the explosion of kind of like online entrepreneurs and these people that are famous for being famous, we don't know where our place is in the world. We don't feel safe. And we're constantly comparing ourselves to these people, on social media, influencers, we're kind of projecting, everyone's projecting an image of a life that they have, which is not reality, it's not attainable, it's perfectionism, and it's leading to enormous amounts of stress and depression, not just amongst teenagers, but everyone, where everyone is looking at the Joneses down the road and thinking, my goodness, I'm not where I wanted to be, I'm not where I thought I wanted to be, and this leads to an enormous amount of dissatisfaction.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this is the thing. I think we said this before. Social media gives you a glimpse into people's lives that you never had before. The Joneses down the road, you might see their car and the outside of their house. You didn't know what went on inside their house. Now you do. You kind of do. But only, here's the important thing, only their highlight reel, only what they choose to show you, right? So we're getting everyone else's highlight reels and thinking, oh, our life doesn't stack up compared to theirs. This is a massive problem. I went to an amazing talk last week, Tuned Out, run by Brandon Block, who's been a guest on here at the ministry. And they're talking about teenage suicide and how that has shot up. I think a 67% increase in younger male suicides. I'm not sure what the figure was, but it was only the last few years.
I think it's 3 years.
Which is really, really sad. And undoubtedly, social media pressure and comparison is playing a big part in that.
It is, and I think also, like, because we're in this information age where everyone's having stuff and it's this quick fix society, everyone's got their moment in the sun, but also, like, material things as well. Everyone is now like, you have to be this, you have to be that. Being you just isn't good enough anymore, basically. Being you, we don't even give ourselves permission to figure out who we are. We don't even give ourselves time to think about who we are and what we want, because we're constantly bombarded with these manipulative messages about what we should be, what we should have, and that just leads to us actually being trapped. Here's the thing. So it's not just about coveting everyone else, but actually being trapped in a life that doesn't feel right. And I know so many people out there can relate to this. You don't feel like you're...
That's leading us nicely, Claire, into, we've described the system and how it's broken. What are the symptoms?
Yeah.
You say there, life not feeling right.
Yeah.
A feeling of, like, disillusionment.
Disconnection.
Disappointment, not feeling alive.
Absolutely.
A little bit like, ooh, there should be more than this.
Yeah, and you start questioning everything because actually you've trapped yourself. Again, I'm going to term another phrase from the lovely Jeremy Whaley. I just love him at the moment. He actually called it modern day slavery, where, we are trapped in a world and a society basically driven by money, where we think we have to earn and graft and, we have to be a certain way, have certain things. We're trapped in modern day slavery, feeling like we have absolutely no freedom and no choice of doing anything outside that.
Yeah, so that's the system and that's the break in it. Those are the symptoms, but how are people trying to manipulate it and what do we stand against? So what we're seeing a lot of now is a lot of preying on this.
Well, it's preying on all these systems,
still
isn't
kind
it?
of, they haven't worked out the new system yet, so it's not about delivering benefits for the individual. It's about
and contribution.
Trying to position things in a different way or a wrong way. So we're just going to call them out. In the health and fitness field, we're seeing a lot of like pseudoscience. A lot of stuff with not much evidence coming out, going, this is the way you need to be now.
Preying on your concerns,
insecurity.
Insecurity, absolutely.
We see, well, this is a paradox. A lot of people are trying to overcomplicate things. So go, getting in shape and or losing weight is really complex. You wouldn't understand it, blah, blah, blah. We'll make it seem really complicated. It's not.
No.
The other approach we're seeing is people just like dumbing it down to like one thing and just going, oh, it's really simple. It's just this. Again, not giving you the full
Not giving you the truth,
picture.
guys. Actually not giving you the truth and just trying to earn money off the fact that they're preying on your insecurities.
And listen, you'll know from our previous talks, we're totally against all these kind of like fad diets, approaches like that. The thing is, a lot of these fad diets, these programs are designed to get you hooked in.
Absolutely.
To make you feel good for a short while. To make you feel like you are doing what everyone else is doing. Hey, but guess what? Then it stops working, so then you do the next thing, then the next
because
thing.
they want to keep making money out of you.
And it's like that program that was the hot program last year. Oh, that doesn't work now. This one. Hey, listen, we're professionals. We've trained thousands and thousands of clients. We've won awards. We know what works consistently over the long term, without beating yourself up in the gym for hours on end, without depriving yourself of food.
Is it quick? No. Is it easy? No, but is it sustainable? Is it worth it? Are you going to get there and stay there and feel good from the inside out? Yes, with all this other stuff, you are not, mentally and physically.
Yeah. So what are we
tell
anti?
us,
Hey, what are we anti? We're anti the broken system. We're anti the symptoms of the system that leave you feeling like rubbish. We're anti all the fad-driven approaches that are trying to capitalise on all the feelings the system's bringing up in you, the symptoms.
We want you to experience the truth, basically. And I know this sounds like we are preaching here, but maybe we are. Maybe this is our new kind of found confidence of preaching. You know, what we want you to understand is the truth. The truth of who you are, your potential. You are being fed all these messages constantly and manipulated into believing that you are something so much smaller than you actually are. You are a being of monumental potential.
Exactly. And that is what we are for. And also it's how we are going to steer the solution for the new system that has to come, right?
The new solution and the system that needs to come.
Yeah, it's about empowering you, the listener, to be empowered, to believe in yourself, to believe in your wonderful power, to be confident, to make decisions, to live your life without comparison.
And
just be
consciously.
Yeah, and consciously.
Consciously live, not just kind of like humdrum along, because this is what, we're past that now. We are moving into a new age, a new time, where anything is possible. You've just been taught that it's not, because that's the way they want you to think. You have ultimate control of your life.
You do. So how do you get on the road? We're going to give you some tips now. Like, start taking control of the aspects of your life that you don't like. Always accept things, but accept things you don't like and make a conscious effort to change them, right? If you don't like the way you're feeling, if you don't like the way you're looking, hey, you know what? Start researching, start changing it, make that commitment, get to the gym, walk to the bus stop, get off a stop earlier, start eating healthy.
Ask yourself if you're being a victim as well. Ask yourself if you're actually have an honest chat with yourself. Say, am I doing what I can to bring myself out of this without making excuses?
Do your mental and your spiritual reps as well, and this is so important, right? So we see a lot of people just go through that. I'll just beat myself up on the physical side or deprive myself of food. No. You have to do the mindset stuff as well, and there is more and more research as technology gets better. We're seeing more and more research about neural pathways, the power of language, the power of suggestion, affirmation, and this is what we work on our clients with, like affirmations, gratitude. And you know what? Not only do we have testimonials saying it's changed their life, there's more and more research coming out of places like UCLA, Berkeley, saying that it changes people's lives.
Because anything actually that you see in the physical world, guys, this is truth, right? 90% of it is mental. It's a mental game. So before you see it in physical reality, 90% of it is actually going to come from your thoughts, your behaviours, your emotions, and your words. Okay, so you need to actually be super aware of what you're telling yourself all the time.
I think I'm going to wind it up on a kind of like Matrixy note.
Oh, there's a new Matrix film coming out, isn't there?
There is a new Matrix film coming out, Matrix 4.0. Not too sure about that one, but let's withhold judgment till we see it.
I remember having the flip phone. Keanu Reeves. Oh, I did love him.
You craft your own reality. So the only question we want to leave you with is, who do you want to be?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, who do you want to be, guys? Listen, we are developing, you might have seen this on social media recently and some newsletters, we are developing something really, really groundbreaking here for men and women over 40. Something really special that we haven't seen out there anywhere in the world. This is our passion, this is our purpose, to serve you at the highest level, as James said, physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. It's a program that's going to encompass everything so you can truly thrive and no longer feel dissatisfied but blooming excited about life, because you deserve that. So what we've done in the podcast summary, we would have put a link to a survey that we would love. We're getting the finishing touches now. We need your help. We need your help kind of crafting this final piece of the puzzle so that we are ready to put this out in the world in the new year. So if you can, it's about 2 minutes, take some of your time to answer these questions. We will read every single answer. and be with a grateful heart. So if you could do that, that would be amazing. As always, we love you so much. We're so blessed to be back. We're super excited. Carry on sharing. Carry on getting the word out about the Midlife Mentors, because we do believe that this is something, we're creating a movement here. So we do believe what we're doing is creating real life-changing circumstances for people. So sending you so much love from a wet and windy London.
Yeah, and see you next episode.
See you soon.
Yeah.
You've been listening to the Midlife Mentors with Claire and James Davis.
We'd love to hear from you. So drop us a line at info@themidlifementors.com with any questions or topic suggestions.
And make sure you join us on our Facebook page and YouTube channel. You can find us under the Midlife Mentors.
Yeah.